Hi, thanks for coming on. Andy with you here on Thursday, and on this video we're going to put up the first couple of anti-post bets in the Scottish leagues. And just to say, I will be back Sunday, and on Sunday I'm going to put up the prices, my bets for the National League, because that's pretty much all wrapped up now. Just got to finalise a couple of things there and just treble check everything, but I've pretty much made my mind up what I'm doing in the National League. And as I say, I've priced up all the Scottish, well, not the Premiership because there's really no need, but I've priced up the other three leagues in Scotland. They are done. We'll have a quick look at those. I'll give you my anti-post bets, and a gentleman who's from Twitter who's watched the videos has asked me for my honest assessment on Celtic or off Celtic, and that's where I'll start. We'll start with that. And it doesn't make the best reading, I have to say. And apologies if this offends any Celtic fans, but I mean I honestly don't have high hopes for Celtic this season. So finished 25 points behind Rangers. I think that's too much to overhaul. I really do. It's not something which I can see happening. It's going to take time. I'm not sure that this is the right man in charge. The feedback I've got is it's a sort of suck it and see job with him. Scott Brown's gone to Aberdeen. That's a concern. I know he's knocking on Scott Brown, but it's sort of part of the furniture there at Celtic. I refer to trajectory. Rangers, they're on an upward curve, and I just can see that continuing. I don't think it will be 25 points again, although I could be wrong. But I think we're looking at two teams sort of going in opposite directions. And I mean, the Morelos situation at Rangers obviously is still one ongoing. And as I say, Celtic, I don't know, he doesn't seem to have been brought in for a rebuild. The contract situation, which I've touched on at the bottom, I really don't know what to make of it. It seems like a sort of, he's in there, do as well as you can sort of thing, but there doesn't seem to have been any sort of plan put in place. The Eddie Howe situation, which I was told was very close. I did expect Eddie Howe to take the job. I live in that sort of area and was told that he was pretty keen on it at one stage, and then I was told he wasn't, then I was told he was again. But I think that would have probably been the best appointment, and to have a sort of not take a year off with Celtic, but to sort of put some the groundwork in this season, and probably to make a sort of sustained challenge from there on. But that doesn't seem to be the case. As I say, I've never had a team this far back in the Premiership win on my figures, and the points overhaul as well, I feel, is too much. And this manager's got a 50% or under win rate in his last three jobs, and I don't know, he could be something special. That's not what I'm told. And it's a big job, and I think the pressure is going to be on from day one. And my honest view is that I think they're going to be second by default, and that's my sort of assessment on Celtic. I just don't think they're good enough, and I think, as I say, I'm not so sure that this is the right man. He could prove me wrong. He could come in and do an absolutely fantastic job, lift off from day one. I just don't see it. I just don't really get the idea behind it. I think, as I say, an Eddie Howe or that sort of type of person would have been much better to come in, steady the ship, and start rebuilding. It doesn't look to me like they're doing that. This looks like a stopgap, and hoping, but we'll see. Right, okay, let's have a quick look then. These are finished now. As I say, I've got a couple of bets coming up in a moment. I've priced up the Championship uh, fully, and I've got them in at twos. They're odds on with only a couple of firms. There's just a couple of notes I made about Kilmarnock. I mean, obviously there's no value, but the manager situation is one of a concern to me. Now, I done some digging last week, as I say, regarding Kilmarnock, and it's an okay camp. But there was a lot of thoughts about changing manager end of the season, and I'm told it was something they wanted to do. But they've put money elsewhere. They've obviously players have come in, and they're going to stick with Tommy Wright. Now, there's every chance they could hit the ground running and rout this league. I've got them rated to do so, or near enough. But there is also on the flip side of that there could be they could get off to an awful start. Tommy Wright could be sacked, and this price here, we could be sort of getting 3-1, something like that. So I'm not going to be backing Kilmarnock unless somebody chalks up 5-2. I'm not interested, and for Sky Bet and Hills to both go odds on, I can't believe that somebody's going to dangle 5-2 out there. I find that incredible. So I think you're probably going to be getting even money at best, and I will not be taking that, even though they are the most likeliest winners. So although it's an okay camp, like I say, the manager situation concerns me, and from what I'm told, they did want to replace him in the summer, but they spent money elsewhere. Hamilton fours 11-2. There's with Hills. If you wanted to go and bet that now, I wouldn't put you off. It's a bet I'm probably likely to put up when we do get the full prices. As I say, Partick were another team that I liked. And that's it. It is where it is, really. I don't think Wraith and Inverness are good enough. Dunfermline probably that could be the dark horse, but as I say, it does look as though it's going to concern these two, and I thought Partick at a price could go well. League One, I've got Alloa in at 11-4, Cove at threes. I think that's probably about right. Queen's Park, obviously promoted now, full-time club. Airdrie and Falkirk are the teams at prices, but both flatter to deceive. And towards the bottom, Dumbarton, I'll come to that in a moment. I'll just show you League Two prices. I've got them in joints, Forfar and Kelty. I like Stranraer. Stirling won at Cove the other night, which was quite a surprise, and we'll touch on that in a moment. Edinburgh can't be trusted. They always let you down. And Stenhousemuir at 16s. That's a big price, considering some information I picked up the other night, and I'll come to that now. I'll start off with a game last Friday quickly. Kelty, I had good feedback on Kelty Hearts in the League Cup game against Dundee United. I don't take League Cup form as gospel, but I like to know how teams have performed. And I was told that Kelty looked to be playing a good level of football for League Two, so that's a positive. Tuesday night, Forfar Montrose. Somebody who actually watched that game said to me again the same thing, that Forfar, although it was a draw, they won on penalties, but the level of football they played was more than good enough for League Two. So that sort of tells me I've priced this market up roundabout right. Stenhousemuir Dumbarton, that's something. Stenhousemuir, they won at Dumbarton, and this might be a little on the large side. So it's going to be interesting to see what bookmakers do with Stenhousemuir, because I wouldn't mind clipping it in, but it means moving a lot of other stuff around. And as I say, I don't like to base things on the League Cup, but the performance was good, I'm told, from Stenhousemuir, and it was certainly, from what I could read, from what somebody said to me, it was a very good level again for League Two football. So I think it's going to be ultra competitive. And Dumbarton, just to say, as good as Stenhousemuir were, Dumbarton were very poor, he said. So that's just something worth bearing in mind, that when bookmakers do price up these leagues, that might be potential bet that we may be having Dunbarton to be relegated from League One. And the other game, obviously, Stirling, they won at Cove. I was told Cove were expected to roll them over the other day, and Stirling won. And that game, that's interesting because it really does make this ultra competitive. Because as I say, I've had positive feedback on Forfar, Kelty Hearts, Stirling, and Stenhousemuir, and I quite like Stranraer as well. So it really does sort of throw this division wide open. So that was just a couple of things to report. Now, on to the bets. I gave these to members on Tuesday, and I'm going to put them out here now. These are both in the Scottish Premiership, and that's Ross County to finish bottom, 2 points to win, and Livingston to finish bottom, 1 point to win. Obviously, only one team can finish bottom, but both of these are massively overpriced, and both of them have got good reasons for the bets. Now, Ross County, I'm told the Malky Mackay appointment has caused ructions at the club. I think things can turn toxic pretty quick at Dingwall. It's a shame because I've been to Dingwall a few times, and I don't bet with personal sort of feelings. I bet with information and statistics mainly. As I say, the Malky Mackay appointment has gone down awfully at Ross, and I do wonder whether they could perhaps, I'm not going to say down tools, but they could find themselves sort of towards the bottom of the Premier League, or bottom sort of come November time, and then they might be forced to make a decision on the manager. But by that time, the rot could have set in, and for me, they're favourites to finish bottom. You can get these two prices. There's only a few firms that have priced this up for relegation or to finish bottom. But I put Ross in at 2-1, and Sky were offering 100 to 30, so we've jumped in with that. And quickly on to Livingston, they 7-1. I made that 4-1, and we have to back that. We're getting 3 points more than we should. The Livingston situation is different. When David Martindale took over the club, they were the most informed sidebar Rangers in the Scottish Premiership for about 2 or 3 months. But the last 12 games is a massive concern. They won once in the last 12, and that win was against Hamilton, a team that ended up being relegated. So 1 win in 12. Again, I talk about trajectories all the time, but when you look at anti-post and when you're assessing outrights, or you have to look at that, and that is something which is a major concern. I think Livingston, I don't know, they might be decent this season, but as I say, I don't like to see teams finish the season poorly. People will say, oh, they're in holiday mode. I don't buy that. I'm sorry, I don't. It's, if a team's in holiday mode, they might have 1 or 2 games, and then they'll get a good ear bashing from the manager and the club, and they'll pick themselves up. That wasn't the case with Livingston. I think they took 6 points from the last 36, and that's an extremely concerning statistic or end of season. And as I say, I do often find that things like that spill over into the next season. Players come back to pre-season with that end of season hangover, and it continues. And I'm not saying that's going to be the case with Livingston at all. They could be comfortably 6th or 7th, but I think when we look at the teams that are sort of predicted to be around the bottom, I think Dundee United, I don't think they're going to be there. I think they're going to improve. I think St Mirren had a good season and will do again. Dundee have just come up from the Championship. Again, they're looking up, upward trajectory. And we're talking about 2 teams here in Ross and Livingston. One have appointed a manager that could potentially throw the club into turmoil, and I think it probably will. And we're talking about another club which has had 1 win in its last 12 games. So for me, Ross and Livingston, they're both overpriced, and I do fear for Ross. I really do. And as I say, I like going to Dingwall. But I do fear for them this season. I have to say. So those are the first 2 bets of this Scottish season. I would have liked to have done everything by now, but obviously where we've not been priced up for the other three leagues. We've got two firms priced up the championship, which is ridiculous. I mean, what are we, 15, 16 days away, aren't we, from kickoff? And we're not getting any prices. And it's frustrating as well as ridiculous. And as I say, but on Sunday I'll be back and I'm going to do the National League, because we've got prices for that all over the place. So I'm happy to do that on Sunday. I will show you the ratings for the National League and I will show you our bets. Members will get those tomorrow night, and I mean, we might even get to do the Scottish Sunday. I don't know. I've got no idea when they're going to price. I've been in touch with people. Some firms haven't even bothered to email me back, which is appalling. But there we are. That's they don't want us betting on this because they know that it can favour us. And so that's it for today. I will be back on Sunday, as I say, and we'll do the National League, and fingers crossed we'll do the Scottish as soon as they price up. So that's it. If you want to back those two, crack on and do it, and I will be back Sunday. Thanks for coming on. Bye for now.